So, when initially thinking about failure being important and avoidable in careers, I would say I couldn't agree more. Something I've learned through coaching is that failure is incredibly important for growth. If things are going perfectly well and there's no adversity being faced, and obviously it's not what I'm saying like fire and brimstone hard, but just like there, it has to be hard in some capacity. They're not going to grow. They're not going to learn. There has to be an environment that forces them out of their comfort zone, forces them out of their box, and expand their worldview. Really, you're not going to bat 100% at your job. You're going to make mistakes, and it's impossible to avoid. So you got to learn from those mistakes because you can't just quit and get a new job every time there's a problem. The video that I definitely liked the most was the what I learned from 100 Days of Rejection by G Yang. Um, it was definitely the one that resonated with me for a lot of reasons. I've faced some pretty violent rejections growing up as a kid from my parents. So rejection is something that I've definitely feared and avoided. I would come up with stories in my head and kind of preemptively kind of be like, oh yeah, this person's going to say no because of like so and so reasons, and they're going to get mad. So I'm just not even going to ask. It's really inspired me to look for rejection. I love how ridiculous some of the questions that were being asked, and none of the responses were. They weren't mad. They weren't aggravated. They were just kind of like curious, or they just asked why. And it's just so important to ask, and we have to get past the initial rejection. The power of just asking was mind blowing. How he could just teach a college class, because that's another reason it resonated with me. I want to be a teacher, so him just being like, "Can I teach in this class?" And they're like, "Sure." Eventually, like it was really cool to kind of see and kind of inspiring. And because like it really is a curse, as you said, the like being afraid of people to say no is a curse, and it's so important to break that curse. And some of the things I'm going to take from that is one thing I thought was funny was I'm going to ask myself what Bill Gates would do, or someone else who's deemed pretty successful in these situations, and just think like how they would view it as so silly to be afraid of something so as simple as just to know. Like they would just be like, "What do you mean? Why are you afraid of that? Just go ask and just take on the no." And even just like looking for rejection. I know he did 100 days of rejection, and that's something that I want to do as well. Look for at least, and maybe even the Google and find some silly kind of questions that people can say no, like a refillable burger, and who knows, maybe that will become a thing, and or maybe I'll get an Olympic donut. So here's hoping to that.